Hi there, it's Larry here, talking to you today from the kitchen of Larry's 60s Cafe. Now, I do apologize. Last week I tried to do a live stream and ran into technical difficulties, but here I am this week, and I wanted to keep that promise. I told you that I would tell you the story of the guitar I bought from Bob Dylan in the 70s. And here I am to fulfill that promise. And I decided to go public with this story because I had a dream about a month ago. And in that dream, I was out walking on the street and I ran into a little group of people coming in the other direction. And lo and behold, one of them was Bob Dylan. And he seemed all friendly and stopped to chat and say hi. And I was just delighted to talk to Bob. And I said, "Listen, Bob, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm the guy who bought a guitar from you back in the 70s. And Bob said, "No way, you're that guy? Do you still have the guitar?" And thinking of this guitar, I began to tell him about the guitar when all of a sudden we got interrupted. Bob was called away and the dream ended. Now, I tell you, I was so thrilled by this encounter with Bob Dylan in my dream that I couldn't sleep for an hour. I was so excited, but I also a little bit disappointed for two reasons. Number one, that I hadn't really met Bob Dylan and couldn't even get to chat with him in the dream itself. But secondly, because I didn't really buy this or any guitar from Bob Dylan in the 70s. I have no idea where that thought came from. But anyway, it's just a great excuse to bring here with this old guitar, which is, by the way, a 1965 Fender Malibu and a bit of a unusual guitar in its own right. And maybe we'll tell you that story another time. But since I've used the name of Bob Dylan, why don't I sing a song of his? Bob's maybe not necessarily known for tender love songs, but here's one of my favorites of his. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, there was no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. Oh, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love. Well, This guitar does have a story. As I said, it's a Fender Malibu, and you look at this headstock, and if there are any guitar geeks out there, you're going to say, well, that looks an awful lot like a Fender Stratocaster, the headstock from an electric guitar. And that's because it is, in fact, the headstock from a Fender Stratocaster. You see, in 1965, the 60s folk revival was in full swing with people like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell and Cat Stevens and just a whole host of people playing acoustic guitar all of a sudden. And Fender at that point had been only making electric guitars and decided they need to get on board with it. And in order to make a bit of a shortcut, they just took a bunch of electric guitar headstocks and bolted onto them an acoustic body and called it the Fender Malibu to cash in on the Beach Boys, the beat scene music. And I bought it, indeed, in the 70s, not from Bob Dylan, but from another fellow who wasn't using it, and learned the history of the guitar much later. But the interesting thing is that this was my first really decent guitar. I paid the princely sum of $100 for it, which doesn't sound like much, except at the time I would have had to work close to 2 weeks to earn enough money to pay for this guitar. But it spurred a kind of a rebirth in my songwriting. I'd started writing songs when I was in grade 12, but I also had a personal spiritual experience in the beginning of the 70s. And when I got this guitar, it prompted me to rewrite an old song that I had written with new meaning. I'd like to play for that for you today. And it's the story of Zacchaeus, who when he met Jesus, he was up in a tree to get a better view because he was a short guy. Climbed up in the tree, and Jesus noticed him there and said, well, come down, Zacchaeus, because I'd like to have dinner with you tonight. And don't we all, in some fashion, have to climb down out of a tree in order to have an encounter with Jesus Christ? Before the rising of the sun, one day he was preaching down in Jericho town when he called Zacchaeus to be free. He says, I'll eat with you if you jump from your sycamore tree. Well, he was short, so he climbed a tree, making up for his inadequacy. Well, come on, Zach, now, bend your knee and come on down from that sycamore tree. Well, even when I was a nobody, Jesus loved me anyway. Till like Zacchaeus I recognized my need and called on the Lord from my sycamore tree. Do you strike a blow and hit the empty air? Do you call for help, but no one is there? Well, just relax and I will give you the key. Just call on the Lord from your sycamore tree. I testify now to everyone, Jesus is God's own Son. So swallow your pride and recognize your need, and calling the Lord from your sycamore tree. Well, that's all for today, folks. Maybe we'll meet again sometime. I'll let you know when I'm serving up something special again. So if you like this, if you enjoyed these 10 minutes, well, give me a like, give me a share. Check out the YouTube channel, Larry Bieber, and see some more of my music. Hope to see you again soon. Goodbye and God bless.